That's Reed Floren, and I've got my friend Cliff Hildreth on the call. Cliff, are you there?
I am here, Reed.
Awesome. Can you tell us a little bit about your background for those that are listening that maybe aren't familiar with you?
Well, a brief history. I'm 57 years old. I've been a salesman pretty much my whole life since I was about 17. I got my first sales job. I went through all kinds of different sales jobs, from selling men's clothing to, plants at a nursery, everything, and was a musician as well for almost 30 years. And so, as a musician, of course, I was one of the best waiters you'd ever know. And so, once from music, got into DJing and video, and ended up opening a video production company. I had that for almost 20 years up in the San Francisco Bay Area, Silicon Valley, and started doing video production. Got into digital video production, which is all computer stuff. And then had an opportunity to come down to Los Angeles and do special effects work for Hollywood, do film effects like compositing and things like that. So I was one of the guys who put the explosions in the Star Trek movies and the Charlie's Angels and stuff like that. So, but video was my love, and just a few years back, I got my first email from a internet marketer offering me, a free website of a PLR product, basically. Here you can set up your own business and all that. And I thought, well, that's kind of interesting, and I didn't really pay much attention to it. But I started getting a couple more. Of course, I opted in to his list before I knew what all that was. Anyway, after a while, I thought, well, this looks kind of interesting. So I thought, I loved computers. I actually build my own desktop computers for my video business. So I thought, well, I'll dedicate a couple of these to doing some of this internet marketing stuff. And that's kind of how I got into the internet marketing field. That was back in '09, I believe, '09.
So, quite the varied career. You've done quite a few exciting stuff. Quite
Well,
a
I'm
few
a
exciting
associate
things.
too, actually. That's what was making me my living here in Los Angeles.
That's cool. And now you've been doing the internet marketing since 2009. What kind of stuff do you do online?
Well, now I've made kind of the transition. I'm just concentrating on the IM niche, basically. I have probably, I'm going to guess, 70 websites, but I started out, as do a lot of people, kind of with niche websites, or niche, however you want to pronounce it. So I've got one on ADD, I've got one on warts, I've got one on teeth whitening, a lot of weight loss, muscle, all the standard big time areas. But over the course of the last few, and I do okay, and I went from doing pretty much nothing to several $1,000s per month, so I was making a living after a couple of years. But what really kind of did it for me is all the changes with the search. It was a constant effort on SEO, basically, to keep myself up there where I could get some traffic, and it just seemed like I was putting in way too much time and doing, I'm sure, what a lot of people do. I was buying everything in sight, from the Warrior Forum and all that. And I thought, and a new website would be a new income stream, so the more the merrier. And that's really not the case if you don't have the time to really concentrate on getting traffic to those sites and offering the product. So, one of the things I noticed, I really started looking and doing a little bit of, joining some mentoring classes and membership sites that had kind of the basic mentoring. And but one thing I started noticing as we all start getting those hundreds of emails a day, as you buy all those products and opt into all the freebies, is that the big guys, you start noticing the same names over and over with the big launches and through the grapevine, you find out who are the big players and who's making the real money. And a couple of things dawned on me pretty quickly when I started paying attention was that one of the things, the main thing they did differently than I did was they were selling their own stuff. I was grabbing a bunch of other people's stuff, and I was putting up websites as an affiliate marketer. And again, did okay with that once I figured out how to concentrate on it and make a business out of it. But one of the things I noticed, they were selling their own stuff, and they were doing a pretty simple process. I was overcomplicating everything with the multiple websites and, trying to get into every niche I could find that I thought, in keyword research. It was an amazing amount of work. So one of the first things I learned when you look at all these things you get, say, hey, put in 10 minutes or an hour's worth of work a day and make $3,000 a day. I'm still looking for that product, actually, that you can do that with. I found just the opposite. I was working way more than I was working at my day job for way less money, and not only noticed that the big guys were doing their own products, but they were doing a very meticulous type of work. You set something up, you drive traffic to it, you offer a product to get people to opt in, you have your upsell and your funnel, and that gets you your back end income. And it just dawned on me, all these websites I have with all the little ClickBank products for each individual ailment or whatever niche it was in, it really was kind of just a hit or miss. And I thought, I've got to concentrate. I've got to find a plan to concentrate on just focusing on a business plan and my own sort of business funnel, similar to a sales funnel. But, here's where you start with this product. Here's what you do. Here's where you go to get traffic. And then the next step, of course, is getting other people to try to sell your product. So that's kind of what I've been concentrating on, and that's kind of the genesis of the product, the IM Explosion that I'm about to launch shortly.
Yeah, can you tell us a little bit about IM Explosion, what that is? Is that teaching people how to do that, or?
Yes, it basically is I finally put everything together, and I think my biggest epiphany was what not to do, I guess, based on what I just told you. It dawned on me, you got to concentrate. You've got to pick a plan, and you have to stick to it from the very beginning. So the IM Explosion, it has the basics, how to set up your blog. So if you're brand new, it's a good product for you as well. But I get into, after you've set everything up, how to drive your traffic, including free and paid traffic, and how to leverage those things to your advantage. Because as we all know who've been around a while, there's a lot of good areas in both of those, and there's a lot of wasted time waiting for you in a lot of the free traffic areas as well. So I go heavily into all the different social media sites and how to leverage those without killing yourself, but also go into the paid traffic possibilities. And also one of the things I like about the product and I really wanted to share was my schedule, how I actually sit down each morning and map out, well, I actually do it at night for the next day, but I map out what I'm going to do. I have a certain hour of the day on a spreadsheet. Here's what I'm working on from, 8 to 10 a.m. on Monday. I set up my articles, to be sent out. And I do automation now, and I do use some VAs as well because it gets overwhelming, once you get to a certain point to try to do everything yourself. And I have 3 children and a lovely wife, so they would like to have a little bit of time with me as well. So, but the point being is, every single day, including my day off, by the way, which Sundays I try not to do anything business related. I just try to relax and take it easy. But every other day, I actually have a schedule of the day on everything I'm going to do in the order I plan on doing, and I actually am pretty close. I think everybody knows you can't always hit it exactly because you never know what fire is going to pop up that you need to put out or what opportunity, like our phone call today, is going to come along that you need to, take care of. But it really changed my business, actually. That simple thing of just writing down a business plan, like I used to do, by the way, on my video business and all that. For some reason, it didn't dawn on me to do that for the internet marketing business. I was just doing whatever happened to pop up on the computer when I sat down in front of it. So my articles could be done on a Tuesday morning, or I might do them at, midnight on Thursday. And it wasn't making any sense to me. And I felt that kind of feeling you get when you end the day and you've done a million things, but you actually don't feel like you got anything important done. That was happening too often.
Well, I think if anyone took that principle and actually applied it, people would achieve so much success. We wouldn't be in this recession that we've had if people just followed that one technique. That's just incredible amount of work that you can get done if you just focus your day the night before, and you can kind of think about it even when you're asleep. Your mind's kind of thinking about it, and then you look at it first thing in the morning and just knock off those things off your list. A lot of stuff gets done instead of people just wasting time, sitting at the water cooler chatting with their, other coworkers or watching TV.
I agree 100%. And like I said, I was kind of disappointed in myself when it finally dawned on me. It's like, Cliff, you've been doing business for 30 years, and this is what I did all the time, and I wasn't doing it on this business. And the hardest part, is sticking to that schedule, because it's so easy for all of us. You see the next big WSO pop up that says you're going to get 10,000 subscribers in a week if you do this. And it's like, okay, I got to check that out. I got to check that out. And, and then I realized, I've got 12 of those on my hard drive right now, and I haven't even cracked the PDF on those. And I bought them like 8 months ago. It's that constant chase. And I know everybody hears this and they probably get tired of this, but that shiny object syndrome it's a tough one. And I was completely guilty of that. I can't even tell you. I had to get a bigger hard drive just to hold. I'm embarrassed to admit it, but since this call obviously is to help others, I can tell you, Reed, half maybe, probably more. I won't even go there because it's embarrassing enough to say half of everything I've bought I've never cracked open, or I cracked open to see the front page and the legal disclaimers, and then I kind of was on to the next thing because something else popped up. I did that. And
I think we've all done that.
Yeah, right? So I'm like, if I could only find the people who would buy all my stuff like that. Now I know how these guys get rich. They just keep selling schmucks like me. And I'm not at all, and I want to make it clear, I'm not saying that the stuff I bought was junk. There's some great information in there, but I was so hyped on the next thing, because when you're new, right, all of it's new to you. Mm-hmm. So Pinterest thing pops up. I was like, wait a minute, I haven't even thought of doing that. Let me check that out from this guy and that guy, and a Facebook fan page, and a this and a that, and so everything is new, and you can't wait to just pop up your PayPal, and click that button. And then, of course, like I said, I swear I was planning to go through this thing one sentence at a time and do everything they said, and I never did, on most of it. So that was my big turnaround when I said, okay, this is gone. That's gone, that's gone, that's gone. I'm going to pick the traffic thing that looks good. I'm going to make 2 or 3 of them. I'm going to go through them from start to finish, at least until I see whether they're going to work or not, and actually do it. And then that's what made me think, wait a minute, you're not even scheduling. How do you know what to do? So, and it's hard to get rid of your distractions too. I turn off my phone. My family knows they do not enter my office. They are to pretend as though my office is 100 miles away. So if I wasn't here, they couldn't come in, and my 5-year-old and ask me to play a game, or my teenager and ask me to fix their computer or their, something that's not working. They couldn't do it. And I said, if that door is closed, do not come in there unless something or someone is on fire.
Sure.
So, and they're very good about it. They're very good about it. But that was it. It all boiled down to me is you got to have a plan. You got to stick to the plan, and you have to be consistent. I do my articles, on Monday mornings. Every Monday, I do my spinning. I do automation now, so I'm using like Article Marketing Robot. I'm using SE Nuke X on some for backlinking and things like that. So I'm a big believer in that as well, and using VAs too for graphics and things like that. But the point is, although I don't hit it on the mark, we never do, and I still do have real estate work, so that interrupts me from time to time. But if that's not the case, I'm in there, and when I'm done, I'm done. So when the nighttime hits and I finish my last task, I shut the door, and everything waits till tomorrow. So I have a semi-normal life now, but boy, I'll tell you, it wasn't like that the first 2 years. I'll say 2 years. 2009, 2010, I was just a disaster. I mean, it just a million things a day, and I really felt like I got nothing done. And I wasn't making any money, but by the way, either.
So in IM Explosion, do you cover some of that? The scheduling and being able to just kind of shut the door and kind of keep your family out and stuff? Because I think that's something a lot of internet marketers need to really focus on.
Yeah, that's the whole last section is about scheduling your time. I include as one of the bonuses for the product, you actually get my Excel spreadsheet. And it's not much, to be perfectly honest. When people see it, I'm sure they'll go, oh my gosh, that's nothing. But you know what? If you actually use it, it isn't anything fancy. Anybody who has ever sat down with a day timer, in the days before your email contact or your calendar, I used to have the old day timer I bought every year, and I would write it in a little box. Here's what I got to do at 2 o'clock. It's the same thing as my Outlook Express now is my day timer. But I actually use a physical printed paper because I actually found it's easier. I tend to do it more if I print out that paper at night and put it on my desk when I'm done filling it in, and the first thing I see in the morning when I go there is this paper saying, Cliff, it's 8 a.m. Crank up the SE Nuke X for website number whatever. You know what I mean? Put together that program for a week's worth of account linking and things like that, or get your article done, or I've obviously been spending a lot of time getting my affiliate page, JV pages, affiliate pages, getting I Am Explosion ready, which it's ready to go now for the launch on the October 25th. But I'll tell you, I'll probably add some stuff by then to it. It has morphed from about a 25-page book now to over 60 pages. But I think the last part is the most important part, like you said. All the rest, in all honesty, you can find all this information I did, but I didn't know how to put it together and put the pieces where they belonged in the sequence of building a website or a business, and then how to follow that along and do your tasks on that and not get distracted. And then, of course, I end with, here's my schedule, here's what you do, and I do go over the how to get rid of your distractions, how to really, I leave my phone in the kitchen sometimes. I don't even
Wow.
Well, because I know, if I see something, I'm going to answer that phone.
Sure.
And somebody here, my wife is a stay-at-home mom, so she's always here. So if it's an emergency, somebody's going to catch it, and they're going to come in and tell me. So it's not like it's not something that can't be done when I take my break. And I schedule my breaks, too, by the way. It's not just the work. I schedule a half-hour break at 10 o'clock in the morning. I have my lunch from 12 to 1:30. I schedule another break at about 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So that's when I run in and check my phone and make all the phone calls and return the emails from other unrelated, my real estate stuff and other unrelated issues. But I'm telling you, the dedication, right? Well, I don't want to say, well, dedication obviously too, but the organization is actually more important. Dedication, you can hire like VAs, you can get other people to do some of this work for you if you don't have the amount of hours in the day that I luckily have now. But the point is, got to get the work done. Got to get it done every day the way you think you're going to do it, or you say you're going to do it, and make it work. And this I Am Explosion is literally the exact blueprint I finally figured out to use to stop all this flitting about and doing hours of work and making no money. The old saying that activity is not productivity. And I was making the rookie mistake when I started this of thinking if I just keep doing stuff that money will start coming into my PayPal account, and that's not true.
Well, I think it's really cool that, I Am Explosion can kind of teach someone who's, brand new or has been struggling with internet marketing, and they can actually run their internet marketing business like a real business owner would run a business. And that's a crucial element that I think a lot of people lack when they get into internet marketing. They go, I'm going to buy this product, I'm going to be rich overnight, and I'm not going to have to do any work. And that's not the case. You have to go in there and actually plan out what you're going to do and actually implement what you've learned if you want to experience any sort of success.
And that's exactly right. And that was a hurdle to overcome for me too, is just like I said, when you see a product says I'll get you 10,000 subscribers, or you can make $4,285.26 a day. It's like the advertisers or the marketing of the products is really good, because it's not saying 10,000 a day. It's like the specific amount down to the penny. And it's like, well, that sounds like a real thing. And I'm not saying the guys are being dishonest. It's just a way of getting your attention, and maybe they did make that much, but that doesn't mean you're going to. They have a lot of other things, and I've, run into the guys who are, let's just say, less than ethical, although
Sure.
there have been a lot of them, but I busted a few myself. But mainly, I started getting mad at the people selling me stuff. And then it dawned on me, hey, these guys are just doing what I've want to do, except they're successful at it. So that's when I kind of made that change to start looking at what are the big guys doing. And that's when I kind of switched over from all these different niche sites to just settling on the IM niche and creating this pathway that I think will work for it really will work for anyone. When people look at it, but like you just said, they actually have to do it. And they have to do it in the order. And that's of course, the problem, I think, with all of us when we start, and unfortunately 95%, and I think I'm being nice at 95%, to be perfectly honest, of the people who buy my product and yours and Mike Phil Sames or John Thornhill's, they're not gonna do it. That's the deal. You just got to do it. You'd be surprised. I think I've always thought on almost any business I'm in, but I think just as a general rule, if you're dedicated, you're organized, and you really do the work, there's enough pie for everybody in any business if you're willing to do what it takes to get there, because most people aren't.
Oh, definitely. There's so much opportunity out there. It's crazy. Now, I mean, this sounds like a really exciting product. Where do people go to get it?
Well, you can go to the imacademyonline.com/imexplosion. That's the page to sign up.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Cliff. And I think this is a fantastic opportunity for people, because I know how hard I've struggled over the years to actually schedule things and structure my business the way it should be run. And this is definitely something I'm going to be checking out. And I know a lot of other people really need these tools in their business and really need to understand how important it is to schedule their day, schedule their time, and apply the right strategies that other successful people are using in their business and put that into their own business. So thank you very much. I really appreciate you being here.
Well, I appreciate the opportunity, Reed, and just to let you know, if you go to imacademyonline.com, that's our membership site that walks you through each one of these things on video. So I'll actually teach you those myself rather than just the ebook. So that's another opportunity. But thank you so much for letting me share this information, and for everybody listening, just go do it. Sit down and get busy and stop complaining, and you'll make money.